What is going on, everybody? Today we're talking about XPENG, ticker symbol XPEV, the electric car from China, the competitive of NIO and the Tesla. Well, no one knows what in the future. We're gonna go over some financials. You're gonna get my take, what I think about XPENG electric vehicle in general, and does it worth the price today of about $50 or $35 billion compared to $100 billion NIO. Can it beat NIO? Can it be 3x from here to be at the same valuation? We're gonna find all this stuff coming up right now. Thank you guys very much. So I'm in Yahoo Finance, guys. XPENG is the stock we're talking about. XPEV is the ticker symbol. Price of $52, down 2.5% yesterday. Let me show you something that I think is the most important thing of this video, not the financials, but I will go over financials. First, 52-week range, $17 to 75. So already people will think, hey, it's cheap because it's now 52 and it should go back to 75. That's how people think. It's weird, but it's true. But the most important key in here, other than all those NA that I can't really do any Warren Buffett analysis because I don't have enough data, most important thing to me is this one. Market cap $37 billion. And if you watch my NIO video, which I will link at the end of this one, you know that NIO is at $100 billion market cap. Around 50-60 bucks, but still $100 billion market cap. Does it worth $100 billion? No one knows the future. What I do know, I know how people think and act, especially retail trader, average per people, you and me. What do they think? They think, and this is the important part, guys, they think that NIO is at 100 billion. They're making electric cars. They're from China. So XPENG also making electric cars, also from China, but the market cap is 37 billion. So theoretically, they should be worth exactly as NIO, which is 3 times the price, which comes to a price target of 150 bucks. That's all. That's all how people think, and most likely that way of psychology thinking will push the stock. I don't know about 150, but at least 75 to start, and then 100, and from 100 to go to 120 to 140. It's not that it's a lot easier than going from 50 to 150. Not in a day. Can it go to 0? Of course, but that's how people think. People think this is, hey, as they're making electric car, they should be at least the same level of NIO, which is 100 billion. I don't justify NIO 100 billion at all, but I'm just saying that if it's the same electric car industry bubble, then everything according to the people how they think should be at around same crazy valuation, which is $100 billion. Let's go over the financials, and I can assure you without even looking at them that it doesn't justify $100 billion market cap as of today. 37 is a different story. 37 is a different story. Let's check it out. I'm in the income statement tab, financial tab. Let's see what we got. Total revenue $2 billion, down from 2.3 billion a year ago. Going down because there's more competition. People say electric is the future. So what? That just means that there's more competition. If you can't be number one, you're gonna struggle. Unless you're Tesla. And Tesla's gonna different subject. But look at this. This is the key here. Gross profit negative 123 million, and this is even worse. Diluted net income, the net income from selling the electric cars, negative $2.8 billion. So the revenue is 2 billion plus, and what they make from that revenue, negative 100 million and negative almost 3 billion. What does that mean? Again, I will link the NIO example at the end where they lose money for every car that they make, and I will give you the same example in here. Let's say XPENG is making a car, electric vehicle car. It costs them $1,000 to make, just for the example and the easy numbers. If it costs them about $1,000 to make, they get back once they sell that car about 700 bucks. Okay, let me repeat that. They make the car, everything, parts, labor, the work hours, renting the space, whatever the case, cost about $1,000 to make. It doesn't, but for this example. And once they sell the car, after all the expenses, they get paid back $700. How do you sustain it? 3 options. Option 1, you don't, and eventually you will end up basically in over-the-counter land. That's option number 1. Option number 2, you issue more shares, you dilute the shareholders, and the more shares in the stock market will hurt the shareholders as a whole. And option number 3, you take on more loan and more debt to sustain selling a car for 700 and making it cost to make it at 1,000. You take on more loans, more debt. All of the above are not good for the shareholder. This is not, guys, that's my key here. This is not a long-term play. This is an option play, in my opinion, to reach the NEO valuation. Maybe YOLO 100 calls or 120 calls for the end of the year. That's how I would play that. Basically not the financial advice, but I would not hold this stock for the next, I don't know, 10-20 years in my retirement account. That's not it. This is a pure option play to reach the market cap of NEO, which is almost 3 times from here. That's all I see. Let's move on. I'm in the cash flow section because the balance sheet doesn't have an update for 2020, so I don't know what they have done. I most likely will do an update in a month or 2 about XPENG, see where they are. This is what I want to talk about. Operating cash flow negative $3.2 billion. Look at this. It went from 2 years ago from 1.5 billion to today to 3.2. So as I said, 2 years ago, most likely they sold electric cars when they were still private, and there were not a lot of competition compared to today. If you have competition, you have to either make a better product, make cheaper prices, have better customer service, and mostly all of the above in order to stay and compete. What is operating cash flow? The money that they're making from their operation, which is selling electric cars. And if the money that you make is worth 100% more than 2 years ago, worth 1.5 billion to worth negative 3.2 billion, you're not going in the right direction. And if you look here, issue of capital stock, exactly what I mentioned a minute ago. They issue more stock, about $2.8 billion in the last 12 months. Sure, it's a lot better than $6 billion 2 years ago. I'll give them that, but they still diluted their shareholders. It's not good long term if everything was normal. This is not normal industry. If this was a normal stock in a normal industry, that's not a good sign. Because it's in a bubble industry, and you can comment below your opinion, but I think that the electric vehicle industry is in a bubble. Doesn't mean it's not gonna go up for the next 5-10 years, but it's still a bubble. That's my key here. So because they issue more shares, it's not good long term for the shareholders. And look at this issue of debt. As I said, you can't make a car for $1,000 and sell it for 700 and everything will be fine. You're gonna go either issue more stocks, which they did, issue more debt, which they did, took on more loans, or end up in the over-the-counter stocks a couple of years from now. Either of all 3 options are possibilities. Doesn't mean that they're not gonna go up because we are in a bubble and people think that they need to be just like NEO, which is right here for about $100 billion market. All it is, this is an option play for me. YOLO $100 calls for end of the year, something like that. Don't listen to me, not a financial advice. Do your own due diligence. But look at this issue of debt, 1.2 billion 2 years ago when they probably started selling a lot of cars. And then 1.6, that's more debt. Then 1.8, that's more debt. You can't make a car for 1,000 and sell for 700. It doesn't work. And if you look at this, I'll give them that. The repayment of debt, they're paying off their debt. That's a good thing. They paid $2 billion back, which is a good sign. So they paid this one and probably this one, and then they took another one. So they're about, getting better. But at the end of the day, it's not like Tesla. Let me show you what happened here. the free cash flow and the year and the last 12 months are negative $4.5 billion compared to 5.5 million. And again, 2 years ago, a lot less competition, they had $2.5 billion negative. Now Tesla, between those years, 2017-18, I will also link a video at the end, we're at about, 400 million negative, and in 2019 they were like, $100 negative, something like that. So if you saw the financials of Tesla, you know the turnaround is right around the corner, and the best time to buy Tesla was about 2 years ago, when you saw this number went from like negative 400 to negative 1,000, which is like $10,000 to 10 million, something like that. Then you know that the next report, they will be super profitable. 2 or 3 years ago was the time to buy Tesla. In here, I see worse. I see $2.5 billion in 2019. Horrible number, 5.5 billion a year later. And it's not like it's back to negative 1, it's negative 4.5 billion. It's all bad. It's all bad. This is not a stock to hold long term. This is an option play if you want to do it. If you're holding this long term, okay, good for you. I'm just telling you what the numbers are telling me. Do not be mistaken. We are in an electric vehicle industry bubble. If NIO can jump to $100 billion, then people will say, okay, well, XPENG can go to $100 billion as well. You know, that's all it is. If Nikola right here was at $95 few days ago, a few months ago, and now it's less than $20 because the CEO did some stuff, you know, you gotta look at the big picture. There is money to be made in this industry. However, if I would be a betting man, which I am, I will bet that XPENG can go higher to around 120 to 150 range, give or take, and be at $100 billion, which is where NIO at almost $60, $100 billion market cap. I would not bet that NIO will go to a Tesla valuation, which is 700-800 billion. More likely that XPENG will go to 100 billion. Option play, only money that I can afford to lose. That's all I have for you guys. If you guys gain any sort of value with what I have to say, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification, leave a comment below. What do you think about XPENG? Are you a long-term holder, or you just doing YOLO call options or put options for that matter? That's also another way to play that, but I will probably do a YOLO call options. Subscribe. Thank you very much, only if you gain value, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah.